Alright guys, well I'm back today with a brand new 300 Blackout pistol added to the collection, and this one is the PSA Sabre-15 chambered in 300 Blackout with the 8.5 inch barrel. The Sabre lineup takes what PSA is doing, bumps it up a level, and gives you some really nice components still at an affordable price point. And as soon as I saw them release this color scheme of the Sabre 300 Blackout with the twist rate, barrel, as well as all the specs and features, I knew I had to grab one. Full disclosure on this setup, I purchased it myself. PSA did not send this out, but AAC Ammo did send all of the ammo out to the channel for me to make this review. We tried 3 different varieties and they've all run great. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but thanks to AAC for always supporting the channel. Now, PSA has sent out a ton of products in the past, but when they launch a lot of new products, most of the time they are not sending them out to reviewers, and if you want to get a jump on them, you got to buy them yourself, and this one was on the top of the list for me, so I had no problems getting out the wallet and grabbing this because I was absolutely pumped. This makes my 3rd or 4th Sabre on the channel, but again, one of my favorite 300 Blackout pistols. We're going to talk about the specs and features, starting from the front, working our way to the back, why I like this particular version so much, and why it may be right for you. So let's start at the front and work our way to the back. Right now you'll see a chemo muzzle device. This was added by me. They generally come with a 3-prong flash hider, and they do a pretty good job, but if you're getting this, you know you're going to put a can on it. That's what it was really built and designed around, so you'll probably swap that out with whatever you want, or just direct thread your can on. It also comes with a 12-position rifle speed adjustable gas block, which is super simple to adjust with no tools, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the overall performance section of this video. The barrel on this guy is going to be an 8.5 inch barrel, which is absolutely perfect. Again, lending to the overall design of this firearm. When you have an 8.5 inch barrel, a lot of suppressors are going to have a minimum barrel length on 300 Blackout of 8.5 inches. So this is technically as short as you can go and run supersonics through certain suppressors. Now, a lot of the cans I run, like the ones from Dead Air, don't have barrel restrictions, so that's incredibly nice. But just in case, this is a good overall length. It's also a lot shorter than some other 300 Blackouts on the market, making it insanely maneuverable, yet still effective over something like a 7-inch barrel. For me, it's kind of like the perfect barrel for a PDW style 300 Blackout. Now, the other cool thing about this barrel is actually twist rate on this is 1 in 5 twist rate. Now, that 1 in 5 twist rate is going to stabilize the 300 Blackout round, in my opinion, a lot better than some of the 1 in 7 twist rate barrels on the market for shorter packages. Now, I believe the longer you get, the more you can get away with the 1 in 7 twist rate, but for that 8.5 inch barrel, that 1 in 5 twist rate is great, and it really stabilized all of these rounds. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about the accuracy and the performance section of this video, but let's move a little bit further to the rail system. The rail system on this guy is going to be the classic Palmetto State Armory Sabre rail system. This one allows 3 M-LOK slots on the sides, the bottom, and a monolithic pick rail at the top, so you can add whatever lights and laser aiming modules you want on the top. More information about this Votatu IR laser in an upcoming video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It locks up rock solid with this crossbolt, anti-rotation tabs right here, so you don't have to worry about things shifting or losing zero. And then it has steel QD inserts into the aluminum, so you're not wearing out your aluminum with those steel detents inside your QD sling. And they've done an amazing job with this made in the USA rail system. And then they've got that burnt bronze Cerakote over top to match that new kind of Sabre M110 color scheme that they've been putting on a lot of other products. And let's talk about that elephant in the room. A lot of people love that color scheme. A lot of people hate the color scheme. I personally like it, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about what this guy looks like. Moving along to the upper receiver itself, it's pretty much a standard mil-spec 7075 T6 aluminum upper assembly, and they've done a good job, especially with the Cerakote. Now, the BCG is like the heart of a rifle. If it's not beating, your rifle's not functioning, and these guys utilize the Fathers of Freedom BCG by Microbest with the Springco extractor spring and the Carpenter 158 MP bolt, so it's going to be a good tested bolt that's reliable down on the range, and I've never had any issues with it. Now, all of the Sabre lineup will come with the Radiant LT charging handle, and I love this charging handle. It's really become my go-to because of the Sabre lineup. I've had a lot of time behind that charging handle, and it works out great. Love the functionality of it. Not overly large, but you can still grab that from either side and charge the weapon really nice touch. I'm glad they include it. And all of these little features stack up and add up, especially things like the adjustable gas block, the nicer rail system, and the quality components. You could really see the value for money in every aspect of this build. Now let's talk a little bit about the lower assembly itself. It's Cerakoted to match the upper, and you've got a lot of enhancements inside the lower assembly. This one is actually equipped with the SBA4 brace, and then it also has the B5 Systems P23 grip with that same color matching scheme. That color match is going to be the RAL 8000, which some are going to affectionately call a mustard yellow. It's also topped off with the enhanced trigger guard to color match the rest of it. So you kind of get what you get with the color scheme. Again, I personally like it. And I also love the SBA4 with the QD slots that match up perfectly with the rail systems, as well as the grip and extended trigger guard. This is actually my go-to grip and extended trigger guard for most setups, so it's nice that it all comes with it. The other cool thing is this is going to have that Sabre buffer tube, the Springco white carbine buffer, the carbine buffer itself, and a Battle Arms development pivot takedown pins, which are really nice. They're just, again, a little bit above and beyond your standard takedown levers. Now, having something like that is, again, alluding to the quality in every single aspect of this build, letting you know they care about every single point that you're going to come in contact with or functionally affects the setup itself. It also has the Hyperfire RBT trigger with the JP reduced power springs and some anti-walk pins, again making this a rock solid lower with a super nice trigger. And let's take a look at that on camera right now. The Sabre triggers are really great. So you have no take up whatsoever, just a nice crisp break, and then a very audible and tactile and functional reset, followed up by another nice crisp break. The trigger has been 100% functional. It's been working out great. It also has the ambidextrous safety with the shortened safety lever on the opposing side, so it doesn't dig into your hand. Again, very well thought out in every aspect. So finally, let's talk about the performance of this setup, because if it doesn't function, all of these bells and whistles and really cool or really awful color scheme, depending on how you think of it, really doesn't mean anything. So let's start off with the gas block, the adjustable gas block, and the performance with a wide variety of rounds. Started running the standard supersonic 150 grain FMJ from AAC, and I tried a few other supersonic rounds from AAC as well. All functioned great, and they functioned good between the 8 and 12 position setting. I found kind of the sweet spot for supersonic with no suppressor was right at about the 10 or 11 position. It cycled great with not a ton of recoil impulse. Now, at this point, you can actually suppress that stuff with the can, turn the gas block down just a couple of clicks. Again, it's a very toolless adjustment, and you are good to go, no issues whatsoever. So it's a really nice gas block that you can just tune on the fly, which is going to be key for 300 Blackout. If you're not familiar, 300 Blackout comes in a ton of flavors and varieties, and you can really mix and match the velocity. You can mix and match the bullet weight, the bullet type, as well as if you're going to add a can or not. And it's probably one of the most versatile setups you'll ever see, especially in such a short package like this. So having that adjustable gas block was great. For me, I had to put it on position 12 with subs and a standard can like the Dead Air Sandman S, and at that point, it just ran great. One thing to note, though, on this particular setup, with subsonic ammo and a low back pressure can, it just wasn't enough oomph to cycle the action reliably. If you're going to run subs, you're going to need a standard suppressor, but because of that, there wasn't a ton of gas back in your face because they've done an amazing job of tuning and regulating this with the adjustable gas block, so it was a dream to shoot. Super quiet, super functional, felt like a sewing machine down at the range. And if you've never shot a 8-inch 300 Blackout as tuned as nicely as this one is with subsonic ammo in a can, you are missing out. It's an absolute freaking joy. I loved every second of it. And when the gas setting is set correctly to the ammo and can, it was 100% functional. Amazing ejection patterns, put the brass in a nice pile, and it just worked time and time again with no issues whatsoever. So functionality, this thing worked absolutely great down at the range. Nothing walked loose, nothing came apart, nothing fell apart. I mean, everything functioned as it should. So reliability gets 2 thumbs up on this particular build. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be accuracy. That's another big factor when it comes to such a short barrel. With that 1 in 5 twist rate, the accuracy killed it. Actually took this out to 100 yards and was plinking like a little 6-inch micro silhouette from shooting target 7 all day. No issues, not missing a beat, just really driving it in. The next thing I want to talk about is the accuracy at 50 yards, and it was stacking dimes with the Sabre black tip. This ammo, it just functioned the best. The next highest performing ammo was going to be the 220 grain Match King from AAC. Both of these functioned great right at 50 yards, stacking them on top of each other. Same hole type accuracy, no issues whatsoever. Granted, we were using a red dot, so you could probably tighten up that 100-yard accuracy with something like an LPVO, but it's not really designed for that. And then the 150 grain, we also saw good accuracy, just not quite as good as the subsonic ammo. Very accurate for what it is. You're not going to need any more accuracy out of an 8.5-inch setup than what you get with this PSA Sabre, so definitely really good on the accuracy department. In summary, I'm glad I purchased this. For me, I've tried a lot of PSA rifles and pistols in the past. We've done PSA torture tests, and they've always functioned well. So it really led me to grab this confidently, and I'm not disappointed in my purchase. I like it. I think you might too. For me, this is going to run primarily as a suppressor rig, an up-close personal defense weapon, or even a micro hunting package. But let me know your thoughts, why you would want something like this, and whether you can stomach this color scheme, or you love it like I do. Thanks for watching. Thanks to AAC for sponsoring. Have a good one.